To be doing lesson 8.1, extending multi-step number stories. So today we are going to solve some challenging multi-step number stories. I'm going to do a few with you, and then you're going to do the rest on your own. And the ones that I do with you, I'm really going to be going over some strategies that you should be using when solving every problem. That doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be doing every problem the same way, but you're supposed to be using strategies, whether it's drawing a table or drawing a picture, using some kind of visual, writing number models. There's all different things you can do to solve problems. Most important thing is pulling out the information, organizing it, and just knowing what it is that you need to do. What is it going on in the problem, and what is it that you need to find out? So here's your student. Here's your student view, and we're going to get started right away with the math message. So you can go ahead and click on the math message. All right. So let's take a look at this together. I know it looks like a lot of writing, and there's a lot going on here, but that's why we pull out our information and we write it down. We keep track of what's going on. So follow along with me. I'm going to read it out loud to you. Fourth grade students from two elementary schools, Dayton and Cleveland, are participating in a 2-mile race at a local park. Once the students arrive, they're split into 4 equal groups. Each group starts the race at a different time so that there are not too many students running at the same part of the race course at the same time. Dayton School brings 3 fourth grade classes with 32 students in each. Cleveland School brings 4 fourth grade classes with 27 students in each. How many students are in each group? And that's important. How many students are in each group? This is our question. This is what we want to know. This is what we want to find out. We have a lot of other information here. And each group that they're talking about is those 4 equal groups. So we need to take a few steps before we can get to that part. So what I want you to do is go ahead, pause the program, and try to figure it out yourself. First, pull out all the important information and organize it. Then what I want you to do is think about the steps that you need to take to solve the problem. And then I want you to go and solve the problem. I'm going to go ahead with the work that I would do and the steps that I would take as an example. So pause the program so you can solve it yourself first. Okay, so I want to pull out my information, and I have 2 different schools bringing different groups of students. So I think something that makes sense to me for this one is to set up a T-chart so I can organize my information. I like using a T-chart when I have 2 things that I want to, and I want to put down information and really just look at it side by side. And in this case, I have 2 different schools. So I have Dayton School, and on this side, I'm going to put information from Cleveland School. And all I'm doing is just organizing my work. And let's see, what do I know about Dayton School? I know they bring 3 fourth grade classes with 32 students in each. So under here, I know we have one class of 32, another class of 32, and another class of 32. Cleveland School brings, let's see, 4 fourth grade classes with 27 students in each. So I have 27, 27, 27, and 27. So that's my information so far. But I want to know how many students are in each of my 4 equal groups. Well, in order to make 4 equal groups, I need to know how many students I have all together before I can put them into 4 equal groups. So I want to know, all right, well, how many students did Dayton School bring? And I want to know, how many students did Cleveland School bring? So if you didn't do this already, you can pause the program now and you can take it from here if you weren't really sure how to set up the problem. So if I add these up, I end up with, let's see, I have 2, 4, 6, and so I have a 6 here, and I have 3, 6, 9. So I have 96 students coming from Dayton School. And let's see how many students are coming from Cleveland School. Well, here I have 4 sevens, and I know when I have 4 sevens, 4 times 7 equals 28. So I'm going to have 8 down here, and I need to regroup my 2, so I'm just going to draw that in up here. And now I'm going to add in, I'm going to add my tens place. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And so now I have my 2 totals for each of my schools. 96 students came from Dayton School. 108 students came from Cleveland School. So now I need to know, okay, well, how many students are there all together with the 2 schools? So what do you think I would do next? Well, hopefully you said that you would add 108, just move this over a little bit, 108 plus 96. I'm going to add these 2 together. See what I would get. My ones place is my 8 and my 6, which is 14. I'm going to regroup my 1, and here I know I have 9 plus 1 is 10. I'm going to regroup this one in the hundreds place and bring my 0 down here. 1 plus 1 is 2, and I end up with 204. And that 204, let me just move this down a little bit. That 204 is students all together. So now that I know how many students I have all together, now I should be able to divide them into 4 equal groups. So that looks like 204 divided by 4 equals some number. So why don't you go ahead and try that? Pause the program, try it yourself, because I'm going to go ahead with the result. So let me set this up. And I have inside here, I have my dividend, 204. On the outside, I have my divisor, which is 4. And I'm just going to extend this line down. And I need to think, okay, how many 4s are in 204? So I'm thinking of my easy multiples over here. And I'm going to say, are there at least 50 4s? 54s. And 54s equals 200. So I want to take my 50 right over here and put it right here. My 50 here. 50 times 4 gives me my 200. And then I'm going to subtract 204 minus 200, and I end up with 4. I know 4 is not my remainder because I can make another group. How many 4s are in 4? And that is 1. 1 times 4 equals 4. So now all I need to do is subtract, and I have a remainder of 0. And on this side, I'm going to come up with my quotient, which is 51. So I'm going to take my quotient, I'm going to put it on top, 51. And that means that there are 51 students in 4 equal groups. And I'm going to just put that in a sentence. How many students are in each group? There will be 51 students in each group. So this is an example of the kind of problems that we're going to solve today. And again, they're multi-step number stories, and they are challenging, but you just have to take your time and look at each part by itself. And again, organize your work. I don't just have numbers all over the place, but I organized it in 2 separate columns. I make sure I label my answers. When I get a result, I label so I know what that number means. So let's go on and let's try another one together. I'm going to go back to my program where I have some other examples to do with you. All right, so here's another problem. I'm going to read it with you, and then I want you to try it yourself. Let's take a look. And again, there's a lot of information here, but we just need to organize it. Organizing your work is key. Jasmine has 60 barrettes, or hair clips, that she keeps in different boxes according to color. This helps her easily find barrettes to match her outfits. She has a box for red ones that hold 9 barrettes, and a box for yellow that holds 7 barrettes. She has 2 boxes for purple that each hold 6. The other boxes each hold 8 blue barrettes. How many boxes does she have in all? Well, there's a lot of information there. So I'm going to go back in. I'm going to underline some of that. So this is important. I know she has a total of 60. Total of 60 barrettes. Let's see. The first color box they gave us was red. So she has a red box that holds 9 barrettes. So that's important. And a box for yellow that holds 7 barrettes. She has 2 boxes for purple that each hold 6. The other boxes, oh, and look, they didn't tell us how many. I don't know how many other boxes, but I do know that they hold 8 blue barrettes. And here's what I need to figure out. How many boxes does she have in all? So I think I'm going to make another T-chart. And this time my T-chart is going to be for my boxes. Let's see. And I think this is going to be for my colors. And I think this side is going to be for number of barrettes. So we started with, in this side, we started with red. And let's go see how many. And what I would like you to do, and I just started this for you. So one thing I would like you to do is pause the program. You can pause it right here and go solve it yourself. You can use what I've already set up with you. Go solve it yourself. And then after you do that, unpause the program so you don't see the result before you're ready to try it on your own. All right, so I have red, and the number that goes with red is 9 barrettes. All right, and then I have, let's see, yellow. Yellow, and yellow goes with 7. All right, I have 2 boxes for purple. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write purple twice. And the number that goes along with purple is 6. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. All right, 6. And the other boxes hold blue, but that's the thing, I don't know how many. But I do know that I have blue, and each blue does hold 8. So again, I don't really know how many blue I'm going to have. So what I want to see is, well, how many barrettes is this all together? Because I know that all together, when I'm done with everything, she should have a total of, can you remember how many barrettes she had all together? 60 barrettes. So my numbers need to add up to 60. So, but I don't know, I don't know how many boxes of blue I have. I don't know how many 8s I need under here. But I do know that all these numbers need to add up to 60. So let's see, how much do we have here already? Well, I know that 9 plus 7, and I'm just going to group these two numbers together. I know 9 plus 7 is 16. And I know 6 plus 6, one of my doubles, is 12. So I can add 16 plus 12, and that gives me a total of, ooh, I don't want that. That gives me a total of 28. So I know that whatever I have down here, plus 28 needs to give me 60. So why don't you guys go ahead and figure out, what does this number have to be here to add to 28 to give me 60? All right, so an easy way to do that is to set up a subtraction problem. And I can set up, let's see, I'm going to take my 60, and I want to take away my 28. And that's going to tell me how much I have left for those boxes of blue. 60 minus 28. I'm going to regroup. And now I have 5 10s left, my 10 here. And I end up with 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3, which means down here, I need to have 32. This needs to be 32. So how many groups of 8 do I need down here for my blue boxes? Did you say 4? I hope so, because 32 divided by 8 gives me 4. So I have 8, 8, and 8. So here's my 32. So let's go back up to the question. How many boxes does she have in all? Well, each one of these numbers represents a box. So I know I have 4 boxes of blue. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 boxes. So that's my answer. How many boxes does she have in all? Jasmine has 8 boxes in all. And I know that the objective today said they were challenging, but they're really not challenging. They just have a lot of steps to them, and we just need to organize our work. And none of these numbers are really large numbers. These were all pretty small numbers. It's all about organizing your thoughts. So let's go ahead and see the kinds of problems that you are going to be doing today. So I'm going to go back to your main screen. And you're going to be doing slide 4 called Cracking a Number Story Code. And you are going to have, let's see, 8 screens. And each screen is going to have a number story. And when you solve your number story, you're going to write your answer in the box. And then when you get to the very last screen, screen 8, you have a code that you need to crack. And there's a riddle. So this one's kind of fun too, to see if you get the right answers, see if your answer to the code makes sense. And here's the riddle at the end. Let's see. Put the letters on the lines above the boxes to find the name of the room where the prize can be found. So that's what your answer is going to be here. So we can do one together. And again, I'm just going to show you again another way to organize or to even just use manipulatives too to help you. So I'm just going to skip to number 2 just to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so let's take a look at this problem. Mr. Granger walked by the cafeteria after lunch. He saw that the chairs around the 9 tables have been moved. So that already gave me some really important information. I know that there's 9 tables. He saw 12 chairs at each of 5 tables, 5 chairs at each of 3 tables, and 6 chairs at 1 table. He moved the chairs so that each table had the same amount. And for this problem, I think a visual picture would be really good to help you solve this. So one thing you can use is your toolkit. So down here in your activity kit, you have your toolkit and you can open that up. And I'm going to go to mine because mine's already opened. And what I did was, in my eTools down here, I pulled up my counters. And what I did was I used my green counters, and my counters I'm going to use to represent my tables. So here are my 9 tables, and I'm going to put the information in according to what the problem said. So in the problem, it said he saw 12 chairs at each of 5 tables. So I'm going to put 12 chairs at each table. So I'm going to draw in my text box. All right, 12 chairs there, 12 chairs there, this table, 12 chairs, 12 chairs, and 12 chairs, because 5 tables have 12 chairs. 5 chairs at 3 tables. So now 3 tables are going to have 5 chairs. Okay, and then my last table has 6 chairs. So this table has 6 chairs. So now I want to know, he moved the chairs so that each table had the same number. Well, in order to make sure each table has the same number, I need to know how many chairs are here all together. So let's figure that out. Here I have 5 tables that each have 12 chairs. So that would be 12. Let me change the color. I don't want to write with white anymore. That would be 12 times 5, which equals 60. So here's 60. And I know that that's not what I wanted. Let's see. I know that these 3 tables that each have 5, that is 5 times 3, which equals 15. And this one has 6. So all I need to do now is add up 60 plus 15 plus 6. And I'm going to add this up. Sorry, my 6 is not exactly where it belongs in my ones place. 6 plus 5 equals 11. I'm going to regroup my 1. And I have 7 plus 1, which equals 8. So that means I have a total of 81 chairs. So now, how do I divide my 81 chairs between 9 tables so that every table has the same amount of chairs? Well, that would be 81 divided by 9, which equals what? Equals 9. 9 times 9 equals 81. So that means there would be 9 chairs at each table. And again, it's just another way to organize your work. So I'm going to go back to my activity, put my answer in the box. Not sure why it's not letting me. Oh, now it will. 9 chairs. So now what I'm going to do, I need to use this in my code. This is number 2. So it's going to be the second blank on screen 8. So the second blank here would be a 9. And my letter that I would do here would be the 9th letter of the alphabet. So that would be, what's the 9th letter? And that would be an I. There you go. So you've got one part of the code already done for you. So I'm going to go on back and take you back to number 1. And just take my advice, just take them nice and slow and pull out the information just like you do in class and organize it, whether you're making a table or a chart or a number model or you need to use that toolkit. I also want to bring up your student reference book, page 26, which is your guide to solving number stories and all the steps that you need to do. And how to organize the information, understanding it, check your work, make a plan, try your plan out. So don't forget to use that as well. I'm going to bring you back to your activity, back to your main page, because you also have math boxes that you can do today. And you have your home link that you can do. And this is also something else, an extra activity that you can work on, comparing zoo admissions. Again, just multi-step number stories where you're going to have to use a table to answer the questions. And you can work on that as well. And I'm just going to stop it right here in case you just need to pause it and see what you're doing. See the information so you can work on it. And here's 2 other questions that you can take, and you're going to need the information in the table to solve. So that's what you're going to be doing today, boys and girls. I hope the examples that we did together really did help. And again, just take it one step at a time. Good luck, boys and girls.